Hello! My kitty has already got to this reading, of course. He already knocked down the Motivation essential oil. We put that on. Super minty. So bright and fresh. Alright, I'm just gonna get started because I'm feeling super motivated today. And the first card from the Eternal Crystals deck is Unakite. Live in the present. Heart chakra. That is so interesting because where can all things get done, right? Where can you be motivated? You can be motivated right now to do something. You can say, I'll do that later, but that's not really motivation. Motivation is you kind of sometimes forcing yourself in the present moment and saying, this needs to get done. This is a step in the process of me achieving my bigger goals in life. So that is where the present moment comes into play. And there is a sense of knowing. There's a sense of knowing that the little things add up to the big, right? That is a way to feel motivated. Because if you lay out your goals and have really big ones, day after day, you're not going to be achieving those, right? But if you break that goal into really small daily tasks that are achievable, like for instance with my business, it would be make perfume, make jewelry, post it on the website, take photos of it, work on my social media. These are all small steps in the process of creating a larger business, which is what I want to do, which is my ultimate goal. So it's important to figure out what your ultimate goal is and then break it down for yourself so that you can apply those daily habits in the present moment. Let's see what the book says for Unakite, which is a crystal I have never heard of. Do you spend too much time focusing on what has happened in the past? That's another way that you can kind of screw with your motivation, right? If you're constantly going back to the past. But here's a way to combat that is set a daily time that you will think about the past and make it intentional. Actually ask yourself journal prompts. Actually figure out what happened and why it happened and how it cannot happen again in the future, or who you need to remove from your life so that that doesn't happen again. Or just what your triggers are. There's so much to learn from the way that you reacted or the way that somebody else reacted and what their triggers are. There's healing to be found in that. Why does that specific action trigger someone? Why did that trigger me? So you have that separate time to focus on those important things. They are ways that you can heal to think about the past. It's not to say never think about the past or never think about the future, which would be like thinking about your goals. It's to say, don't let every present moment in a day be robbed from you by thinking about things other than the present moment. Set up times in your day or in your week to say, each day I'm going to think about the past and journal prompts and what I can do in going forward to change my actions, and set those intentions. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. And then once a week, maybe go through your goals. Your goals will change. Being flexible is important. You might change your goals. Just because something was your goal doesn't mean it needs to continue to be your goal. So that's also another really important part of staying motivated. There is nothing wrong with planning for the future. Just try not to become so focused on the future that you forget to live in the present. Unakite helps you to live in the now. It's a balancing and grounding crystal which is associated with the heart chakra. Try to focus on the things and people that bring you the most fulfillment or happiness at the moment. Spend time doing things that you love and that re-energize you. Connect with your loved ones and do something fun together. This is, I think, specifically for people that feel they've lost their sense of motivation. So if you feel you've lost your motivation, do something for you. Go out into nature if that's what you like. You know, take a small camping trip, or it said hang out with friends, and just bring a little bit of that life back in, and then go back and do all of those tasks that you've set for yourself. So being motivated isn't all work. It's not constant grinding. It's not constantly, I have to just be pumping out jewelry and pumping out perfume and constantly be posting on social media. No, there are downtime. There are set downtimes. There is set time for me, you know, to play video games, to do my skincare, to take a shower, to hang out with friends, to go to a public place and relax and not think about photographing my jewelry or something like that. Like, that's just my own personal perspective, but that's what works for me, and I think that that's probably going to be the best for almost everybody. You really don't want to burn yourself out. It is so hard to get over a burnout. It can really put you down in the dumps for years, honestly. It can take months or years to get your motivation back after a burnout. Never push yourself to like organize every single thing in your whole house and clean out every single thing, you know, maybe unless you're moving, but you really should give yourself at least a month to do that. But, you know, in one day, you should never be like, I'm gonna get every single thing done that I need to get done that I've been waiting for weeks to do. No, give yourself a couple things to do, or even one of those annoying tasks like cleaning out a junk drawer, calling people that you need to call, like doctors or something like that. Those little tasks that only take a couple minutes, only give yourself a couple of them, because if you can do more, you can do more. But if you don't get to it and you set yourself all those tasks, you're going to feel like you failed yourself. Something that it also talked about in this card is that you should practice gratefulness. You should look around you. Who are you grateful for in your life? What are you grateful for? Look around nature. Say, I am grateful for this nature. I am grateful to be able to take this walk. Because simple things like that, and having that gratitude and that openness to the universe like that, it will bring you good energy, because you're starting a feedback loop. You're saying, I enjoy this, and it's like, here's more things that you enjoy. Whereas when you're sad and you're, stuck in bed all day, you never are breaking that negative feedback loop. The one that's saying, I'm not seeing anything good around me, I'm just staying in my bed, it's dark in my room, and I'm just, feeling really down. And there's nothing that's changing that. And it just continuously loops. You have to force yourself. Even if it's the simplest task, even if it's washing your face, even if it's taking a shower, or just taking a walk, or just doing one task, do the dishes, that's it. I'm done after that. But you will find with motivation, what's so beautiful about it is that once you've pushed yourself out of that loop, and you do whatever you can to get yourself out of that loop, and you say, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to freaking do it. And you just start by even putting some makeup on, or doing something self-care for yourself. Like I said, washing your face is a good place to start if you've really had a lack of motivation. And that will continue. You will notice if you do that, if you do one small task and you force yourself to do that, you'll want to do more. Isn't that amazing? You'll want to do more. You have created that loop. You're already on your feet. You've given yourself the motivation. You give yourself the motivation by forcing yourself out of the loop, by saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like I haven't got enough work done, or I haven't cleaned the house enough, or I haven't taken care of bills, or whatever is like stacking up against you, and you feel that you need motivation to get that done. You need to organize or something like that. You have to force yourself. In the mint from motivation, the peppermint from motivation, I believe that there are studies done that peppermint truly does uplift you, like give you energy. Basically, it helps you focus. I think it's one of the essential oils that I've found that has some of the most amount of research about it when it comes to like actual scientific studies, and it truly is incredible the way that it makes me feel and the way that other people have felt just by using some motivation essential oil, really just peppermint oil, rosemary oil, eucalyptus, these fresh herbal scents that wake you up, you know, they really get you lifted. And I don't even think with peppermint that it's like you are using it as a reminder. I truly think that peppermint can be a trigger, it's so bright, and it really feels like it almost makes something unlock in my brain and go, I'm just going to do something that I need to get done. I'm just going to get it done. You've reminded yourself, you've almost made a promise to yourself by putting that on and saying, hey, I smell this and it's time to get this stuff done. That's one way that you can use the essential oil blend to actually get things done. It's like a promise to yourself, and the brightness of the peppermint can really, really uplift you. If you do have a lot of trouble with that first step, it's like forcing yourself to get things done, which really is how motivation is. It is forcing yourself. It's not some divine essence that comes down, although you might be able to tap into that through meditation. You know, if you say, I want to feel energized by the earth's energy, I want to feel energized by the universe's energy, like connect to me, flow through me. You can do that and make meditation your signifier and your promise to become motivated that day to get things done that you want to get done. But you can also use the essential oil. So there are options. It's not like it's the only option if you have a really hard time with that first hurdle, that first step of forcing yourself. I think that that's everything I wanted to say for Unikite, and I'm going to move on to the second card. Let me show you Unikite again real quick, just so you can see it. It's a green stone. It also said it was associated with the heart chakra, and it talked about doing things you love. And that just reminds me, it's like, what lights up your heart? Do that. If you're struggling with motivation, or if you don't know what you're even supposed to be doing at all, then think about the things in your life that you love. And it might be something that you didn't realize. Like for me, I've always loved outlining things. I love making the directions for someone else so it's easier for them. That's such a specific thing. And it really does relate to tarot and to giving advice and like laying out directions. There are hints and clues in your life that are like the breadcrumbs to figure out what really lights your heart up if you are confused and unsure of what you're even supposed to be doing. Make a list. Think of all the things that have lit you up in your life and cross-reference them. See where there are similarities. Mix them together. Cross them over. If you like video editing and you like nature, then maybe you want to take nature videos Maybe you want to focus on that's your hobby. Now you're going to try to go out in the woods and get videos of wild animals. It's like, that's not ever something that you thought of before. But you took two things that you enjoyed that lit up your heart, and then that's what you focused on. So that's just the last thing I wanted to say for that card, because the heart chakra just reminded me of that. And the second card is Initiation by Air, which is from the Lightworker Oracle. And I can't get too close because I got a little kitty here on my lap. I don't know if you guys can see that. You have a strong and powerful mind. The mind can be a great asset. It can bring comfort, peace, and strength as you take your spiritual journey. It can also be a dark and destructive force, undermining your power, making you doubt your own heart, and keeping you trapped in fear. I don't know if you noticed that, but again, it spoke on your heart. So what that's making me think is that motivation comes from the heart. Like, it's kind of hard to motivate yourself on something that you don't really care about, right? That's why people struggle to do those things like calling the doctor or just those little tasks, because it seems menial. It's not like what you really enjoy doing. Maybe you really enjoy watching movies or playing video games or taking photos, playing music, hanging out with friends, whatever. Those are things that you're motivated to do naturally, right? With motivation for things that you don't feel like doing, you need to make yourself a reason why you're doing that thing. You need to feel the feeling that you're going to feel when you're done. Now, you need to think about how you're going to feel when you're done. If you are supposed to call your doctor, then the reason why you're going to get this task done is for your health. And you realize that that's important because the longer that you keep your body healthy and in shape and checked up on, the longer you can live out your beautiful life and do the things that make you happy and spend time with your loved ones. And you think about that. You think about seeing your grandchildren grow up, and you think about things like that. You think about how you're going to feel when you're done. Oh, it only took 10 minutes to get that done. That was such an easy task. It's not going to be that bad. I bet that I'm going to get in and out of my appointment in an hour. And, you know, like recently I went to the doctor and the ladies were so sweet. And like we were just chatting and I was like, I was dreading this. And it wasn't even bad. And a lot of the time it is like that. Like you build up this giant wall in your head about this thing, and to break it down, you have to remember why it's important. And if you can't come up with a single reason as to why it's important, then maybe it's not something you're supposed to be doing. It said that your mind can be a powerful tool, and basically your biggest weakness. And that's something to get through to be motivated, right? You have to sort out your mind. You have to almost combat your mind and say, no, I am good at that. I am good at that thing. I do love doing that thing. I can't tell you how many times I've thought, I'm just going to give up. What's the point of me making these YouTube videos? I only have 50 subscribers. It's not like many people are watching these. Or I'm barely getting any sales on my business. I should just give up. I should just shut down the whole website and I should just stop making jewelry. I should just go back to a regular job because that is what's going to make me stable money. And it's like, no, I chose this pathway because it wasn't the norm and it was what made me happy. And there are times that there's doubt. And there are times that it feels like I'm pushing uphill, you know, and it just seems like things are working against me. But the most successful people in life have confidence in their work and also have those days of doubting themselves. The most successful people in the world just keep going. That's the thing that every successful person has in common, is that they didn't give up. they might have changed their focus, but they never just sat on the couch and never did a single thing with their hobby and just went to a same job over and over for the rest of their life. No, they pushed themselves out of their comfort zone. They continue to do things even when it seemed like people weren't receptive of their work, because they were going to push out there and find people that actually would enjoy their work, or they're going to refine their talent, or both. And it's not to say that just having the same job and living that kind of lifestyle is wrong, because it's totally not. If that is your goal, is to live simply and to live within your means and have a stable job and do all of that, then that's your goal and that's what you're motivated to do, right? And then some people can be motivated by saying, I have to just keep going, I have to break the mold, I have to create my own path. And both of those options are okay. Both of those options, you can motivate yourself internally. And you can have days of self-doubt and push past those and kind of fight your mind with covering things up with a new sentence. So if your sentence is, I'm not good enough, no one's buying my stuff, it's, I am good enough. Let me figure out different ways to market this. Let me get more products out there so there's more variety. Let me market to different people now. Let me try talking about this on a different platform. Let me try putting my ad in a newspaper, or doing something that I've never done before, like posting myself on Google Maps or something. There are different ways to do things. You can think outside of the box. You don't have to say, this is not going right and therefore it's not good. It could be, this is not going right, so therefore I'm going to motivate myself to find new ways to make this work. And this can apply to anything. I'm just saying it in my terms. Your mind can become more spacious and luminous if you practice emptying it on a regular basis. The radiant mind can be a mighty warrior against fear and despair, encouraging you with thoughts of optimism. So it's talking about emptying your mind. So like I said, meditation or some sort of practice like walking in the woods or something like that can be very motivating, can really get you out of a spell that you've been in if you've been feeling extremely down, or you've been feeling a real lack of productivity. If you have all of these thoughts in your mind and you're thinking about the past and you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about how you're not good enough, it's time to press reset. It's time to say, I'm not thinking about those things right now. And set that time for yourself. And if you waver and you go to the past and you go to the future, you notice that and you keep trying, because it's work to get better at meditating. It's work to get better at clearing the mind. So this card talks a lot about clearing the mind. It basically is saying that if you want to go forth in the world and be peaceful and be loving, and of course for this reading, be motivated, it is so important to have those periods of rest. This was already brought up, but it's so true. And it should be not only physical rest, but mental rest, right? You can't keep cycling on the same things. You have to put an end to it and have those moments. Take that time out, 10 minutes even, and say, I'm going to relax my mind. I have set the intention for this. People think that in order to be an extremely productive person, you can't take any breaks. Like, you can barely sleep. You have to just constantly be working. But it could not be further from the truth. Because a well-rested mind, an emptied mind, a mind that has had time to do the things that they want to do as well is much more likely to be able to get through those really difficult tasks like writing a paper or doing a bunch of work in an office. It's going to be so much easier if you have a mind that is well rested. It's like flex culture these days to be like, I work 75 hours a week, never sleep, grind, only grind. Like, no, that's not the way that things are done. That's not the way that you maintain motivation. You will burn out if you live that. You will feel lack in your life. And what is being motivated and having these goals if you are unhappy on the whole journey? What's the point of that? The journey is what's happening. You have to enjoy the journey to your goals. You have to. There are parts of it that you might not enjoy. Like, I don't enjoy cleaning the bathroom. But that feeling when the bathroom is shiny and white and smells like cleaning products, isn't that the best feeling in the world? And you remember that. You say, I'm going to get that feeling. And you do it and you say, I did that. And you pat yourself on the back. You say, thank you, me, for doing something that I needed to do. And that's going to motivate you more. That gratefulness for yourself that you got that done, that's going to motivate you even more. So take time. Take time out from your mind and your physical world. You have to give yourself breaks. I think that's so important. It's interesting that we're in like a motivation reading and I don't feel it's as much saying like how to get things done. It's really the philosophy behind being motivated. Because it is a mind shift to become motivated. You have to give yourself those reasons why. I'm going to read the invocation from this card now. They're kind of like a prayer, and I always think they're really beautiful. I call upon the unconditionally loving ones to help me empty and refresh my mind, renewed in eternal love. May I express freedom in making wise decisions that create joy and love in me and in the world. I ask for divine mercy, compassion, protection, and instruction to assist me in bringing my mind into loving consciousness. May the light of the divine shine unobstructed through my mind, bringing peace to the world. May the unconditionally loving helpers of humanity help bring light, healing, and joy to the minds of all. Through my own free will, so be it. Isn't that so beautiful? And I was going to say, since this is an initiation by air, I think that what's jumping out at me about that is that, you know, I'm a triple air sign. I'm a Gemini, Libra, Gemini. We be thinking a lot, right? Air signs, not only do they talk their asses off, right? But their mind is about 100 times worse than what's actually coming out of their head. I'm sure this is the case with many, many people, and probably every sign experiences this. But I think air signs would do well with the motivation, because it's like you have all this energy and it's floating around, but it's like, how do you harness it into a beam to push it in to what you want to be doing? It's all over the place. It's all around you. But it's to harness that and to actually push it towards what you need it to be done. And I think a lot of the times that does have to do with mastering the mind. That has to do with setting that intention and bettering yourself, working out the mind by clearing it so that you don't have this constant shifting of what your focus is on next. And I'm going to move on to the third card, the ladybug and the sweet pea. Happiness. This is going to be a really simple one. It says, you are entering a period of happiness, positivity, and good luck. Celebrate your joy by sharing it with others. That reminds me of so many different things. First of all, motivation is great paired with having a friend help. Because even that doesn't mean they're like actually doing the thing, but just sitting there. I know that helps me so much when somebody just sits there and chats with me while I get done whatever I need to get done, you know, depending on what it is. If you're studying, maybe not so much. But it also reminds me of just sharing, like to motivate you to share your passions. I've said this before and I'll probably say it many times. When you go out and actually share, like for instance with people vending or people playing their guitar at the park or something like that, if you do something like that and you share it, even with close friends, and you say, look at this, I painted this, or look at this, I took this animal video in the woods, you know, like I mixed together the two things that I love, and you show your friends, that makes a feedback loop as well. That makes a motivation feedback loop, because when you share it with others, 99% of the time people are going to be excited for you. And they're going to be like, wow, that's awesome. They might have some feedback, which is always awesome, because how do you better yourself better than having real people tell you feedback? But people will motivate you. That will motivate you to share, to FaceTime someone, to video chat with somebody while you're cleaning. But sharing is an important aspect of motivation. If you are doing all this work and you're making all this art and you're making all this music and you never actually finish a track and you never actually put something together to show someone, then it's really hard to get that motivation again. It's really hard to keep going back because you have no outside sources to tell you, keep going, that sounds great. You have nothing but yourself. And yeah, you can push yourself a lot, but having that extra person there to motivate you is really important. So it's talked about calling on your friends in multiple aspects of this reading. And your friends can be a huge motivator, so do not forget to reach out to them if you need some motivation. It says again, what brings me happiness? So this multiple times it's talked about lighting your heart up, or what brings you joy. That's going to be an important aspect of motivation. You shouldn't build yourself a business that you hate every aspect of it. You know what I mean? You have to make sure that what you're doing, that what you're really deciding to do, not those little extra tasks that you have to do, you know, like calling the doctor, cleaning out the drunk drawer. No, when you actually make yourself something that you're doing, let's say you want to crochet and you just want to make baby blankets and you want to make Christmas gifts for everybody. You hate crocheting. Well, why did you decide to do that? And every day you feel so bad. I didn't even start on the baby blanket. I'm never going to get this done. Still, they won't even be a baby anymore whenever I get this blanket done. I feel terrible. Well, you decided to set yourself a goal of something that you didn't really like. So that is a really important aspect too. You have to be real with yourself. You have to say, am I good at this? Am I enjoying it? And it's not to say you can't get better at something. You definitely can get better at something if you really suck at it. But if you don't enjoy it while you're trying to learn, you're going to have a horrible time trying to learn it. You're not going to become the master. You're going to quit. You have to be real with yourself. Talking about those little tasks that have to be done, again though, this oil has made me clean out my memory box that I had things in there that were so old and should not have had, brought me down, negative notes, mean things people have said to me, giant bin, just papers flying out. And I actually went through after putting this on and went through everything and lit all the rest on fire. I mean, I don't even have that much in my box anymore. And everything I do have is super nicely organized. All my tickets, stubs from all the shows I've been to are all in one little box, and it's like That is such a good feeling when you're done. Okay, and final card, we have energy work. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because what is motivation but harnessing that energy and pushing it towards something, focusing it, and you have to harness it first. I think that's a really important aspect. If all of your energy is flying around, maybe clearing the mind, maybe doing a meditation or calling your friend, clearing that mind and then pushing that energy. You have to accumulate the energy. If you have no energy, if you feel completely down and you're sick and you can't even get out of bed because you have the flu, don't force yourself to do things that day. You know, that you have to check in with your energy levels and be realistic with what you think you can get done that day. And if your energy levels are higher than you thought they were, then wonderful, add a couple more things to your list. But be realistic. Put a small amount of things on your list. Even cancel things. If you're not able to do it, you're not able to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people need to hear that because they beat themselves up when things just can't get done. If you're not feeling it, you have to harness your energy again. My energetic body is clear and radiating love. Prioritize the maintenance of your metaphysical body. It has said this multiple times. It has talked about making sure the flow in your body is right, making sure so first it's talked about like the actual physical world, like don't overexert yourself, right? Then it's talking about your mind. Now it's talking about your whole body as a flow in an energetic sense on like the spiritual plane, not physically, although they are completely connected, because where you get sick can often have to do with an energetic problem that you're having. Start at the top of your head and work your way down. Ask each part of your body or each of your chakras how they feel and what emotions they are holding on to that need to be processed and brought into balance. Be patient. The responses will come. And then now it's talking about emotions. So we really have the full spectrum of just your being. That's what you need to be checking into to be motivated. You can't be pulling from an empty cup. So you have to check in with yourself and you have to pour into yourself. Because I've noticed recently that when I have done this new ritual where I've started trying to put makeup on a lot more often. Like it would usually be like one day a week I put makeup on. And lately I've been trying to make it be like 5 or 6 days a week where I put makeup on, because I realized that when I put that time into myself, that 15 minutes I take to make myself look good and feel better and feel confident, then I poured into my cup. It was like a signifier to me saying, you are valuable enough to have this time spent on you. You are valuable enough that I will take a moment out of my busy day or my schedule to love myself. And that is so important. And they've talked about multiple different ways that you can do this. Doing meditations, doing energy work, so checking in with your chakras. That could even be going to get Reiki, having a professional do this type of work. Then we have even doing invocations or like saying like a spell. And you could even use the perfume to do this. There are many ways that you can ground yourself. I talked about taking a walk. I think even dancing or just doing something for yourself, skincare, even taking a nap. If you set the intention that this nap is to revitalize, rejuvenate me, and it is for me, and I am going to be motivated when I am done with this nap, then you will be. Set the intentions. You are working with energy that is available to you, and when you take that rest, that's you getting your energy from the universe. You set that intention. Yeah, it talks about it right here. It talks about different healing alignments. Explore Reiki, Theta healing, somatic therapy, Watsu aquatic bodywork, chakra alignments, voice activations, sound healing, or any healing modality that feels right for you. So yeah, I've heard of somatic therapy. You can do some tapping. You can do some tapping all over your body. I like to do some on the face. But yeah, it can help activate different parts of your body. So that's something you could look into, is tapping. And I'm sure there's tons of videos about it. You could probably, if I find one, I'll link like a motivational video. Maybe there's one that's specifically for that. But I think that you can just tap on your body where it feels right. And that might help you actually get into a mood where you will be able to tap into your energy and have that motivation available to you. So I think that's everything I have for you today. It's very interesting what this reading talked about. I don't think that it is what I would think it would talk about, but it's just fascinating how a lot of the reading talks about being good to yourself, taking breaks, finding reasons to have motivation. So creating those goals, or knowing what you'll feel like when it's all complete, that sort of thing. And it's not about, this is how you do things. This is how you get, and it did say this is how you get energy, but it's not in the way that people would think, right? The way you get energy is by not using the energy that you have. So then it fills up. It's like a video game, you know? When you're running and your stamina runs out and you say, I have to walk slowly now because until my stamina's back up, I'm drained, right? That's what it's like. You have to let yourself have energy, and you have to check in with your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body to know how you can have motivation. And it even touched on how you can find goals if you don't have a goal. A lot of people have come to me and they say, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to be motivated. I want to do things, but everything feels like I don't know. And it mentioned that as well as like figuring out your strong points, being real with yourself. So if any of that resonated with you or aligned with you, then this perfume might be something that you're interested in. And definitely not necessary though. This is the energy of the oil and the energy that it brought forward. And I definitely thought it was a very interesting reading. I hope that you enjoyed it too. I'm going to leave all of the decks that I used down below, and definitely feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch till the end, and I'm also going to leave my website if you are interested in purchasing any of the perfumes today. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye.